And I think it's pretty safe to say that in the next 30 to 90 days, if you close in the next 30 to 90 days, your interest rates are probably going to fall in that very, very similar price range. So it looks like the lowest interest rate that we closed on was about a 10.35, and the highest one was about a 10.95, with 10.55 being the average of all of our rates. So again, I don't have a crystal ball. I have no way of knowing what prime rate is going to be in the future or when you're going to close. But I'd be willing to bet that if you do close in the next 30 to 90 days, it'll probably be in the 10 percentile range, if you want to make a note of that. Not 10%, 10 percentile range. Now, the rate is connected to prime rate. However, once you close, it's going to be fixed. It's not going to change. It's going to be fixed for the first 5 years. Now, after year 5, on year 6, on year 7, on year 8, once per year, there will be a reevaluation and a recomparison of the then current prime rate with the prime rate when you closed. If the then current prime rate went up, your interest rate is going to go up. If the then current prime rate went down, your interest rate is also going to go down. Now, in addition to that, we do have certain caps that will prevent your mortgage payment to double in price, for example, from one year to another. But I do want you to be aware of the general structure of our interest rate, so that, for example, if you notice that your interest rate is slightly different, maybe higher or lower in 7 or 8 years, I don't want you to come back to me and say, hey, why is it different? Did it change, or what's going on? Well, I want you to be aware of exactly what the structure is from the get-go. Now, the last thing that I do want to cover is the fact that all of our transactions have seller-paid points. In your case, currently, your transaction has 5 seller-paid points. What is that, and how does it work out? Well, in a nutshell, 1 point is 1%. So, for example, if you're buying a $100,000 home and your transaction has 5 seller-paid points, that means that the seller is going to have to agree to pay up to or pay $5,000 of that $100,000 home when they close. That's going to be when they close. So 1 point is 1%. Your transactions have 5 seller-paid points that they are required to pay on your behalf. Now, here you might be wondering, well, geez, I mean, I don't know how many sellers are going to want to pay those points. And you're absolutely right. Off the bat, it might seem that, seller-paid points is something that they might not want to do. However, what I want to share with you is the fact that most real estate transactions and most real estate agents, they've already coached their sellers. Most real estate transactions have some sort of seller contribution, seller concession, or something that the seller pays in your behalf in order to make the transaction occur. Sometimes seller paid points are 1 or 2%. Sometimes it could be more. In your case, you do have 5 seller paid points. Now, we want you to succeed. So we've done something very, very special for you. Let's say that you look at a home and it's a $100,000 home. You think it's worth $100,000. You like it. You want to do the deal on that home. You write up your offer and you tell the seller, listen, Mr. Seller, I'm willing to pay you $100,000 just like you're asking me to. I'm going to be taking out a loan. I'm going to be using this owner finance company to fund the transaction. And they're going to require you to contribute 5 points, or $5,000 in that case. So the seller might say, well, man, if I do the math, I'm only going to end up with like $95,000. I don't know if I like that offer. Well, we do allow you as the buyer to offer up to 5% over asking price if you feel that will help you close the deal. So for example, in that same example that I just shared with you, you could say, well, listen, Mr. Seller, would you feel comfortable paying 3 points or 2 points? And then if they say yes to maybe 3 points, you could offer $102,000 so that the net result is them only paying 3 points from the original $100,000. So we let you offer up to 5% over so that you can do the deal. We really want you to succeed. Just be aware that on paper, the seller is going to have to contribute 5 seller paid points. So in summary, the cost to do these transactions are closing cost, which we currently charge 6 to 10%, interest rate, which is probably, if you close in the next 30 to 90 days, it'll be in the 10 percentile range. And it is what we call in the industry a 5-1 arm. It'll be fixed for 5 years, and then it will adjust once per year every year after that. In addition to that, your transaction does carry 5 seller paid points, and we do allow you to offer up to 5% over the asking price if you feel this helps you, win the home. We want you to succeed. Now, at this point, I really want to turn the conversation over to you, Mr. Buyer. Do you have any questions that I haven't quite covered at this point? No? All right, great. Well, now that you have in your hands all the necessary information for you to be able to make an educated decision, really the last remaining question is this something that you'd like to move forward with a formal approval? Awesome. Super glad to hear that. So let me tell you what the next steps are, and that's going to be covered in the next video. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great one.